Steve hopes someone will teach him martial arts, and when Roger hears this, he transforms into a martial arts master and starts teaching Steve. Roger puts Steve through a brutal training regimen. He makes Steve start by combing his hair with a comb, then tells him to kick away an ice pack, and even asks Steve to mix a cocktail. Soon the competition begins, and Steve is nervous. Roger reassures him, telling him not to worry, he's ready and no one can stop him. Before he finishes speaking, Roger spots a better-looking beard and walks away. Snow arrives and doesn't understand why Steve is competing. Steve says he's there to beat Snow. Roger returns with the beard, and the two agree to meet in the finals only to face each other in the first round. Tom tells Snow to get ready. It turns out Roger knows this Tom, and Roger was even Tom's master at one point. They had a falling out over trivial matters and became mortal enemies. Roger tells Steve that if he can't be his opponent, he can kiss him, which will definitely demoralize him. On stage, Snow starts trash-talking, but Steve couldn't care less. When the fight begins, Steve follows Roger's teaching and tries to comb the opponent's hair. Snow knocks him flying with one punch and then presses his advantage. In the end, Snow wins easily, and Tom mocks Roger. On the way home, Steve apologizes to Roger for making him look bad. Roger admits he didn't actually teach Steve karate. Instead, having Steve mix cocktails was all about helping him relax. Steve had thought those things were actually useful, and Roger says if Steve really believed that, his imagination is way too wild.
Steve, you make these wild leaps. Oh, now leaps. Now that could have been great for karate.
How to easily defeat a karate expert. Stan's got a scheme.
There is only one thing you need to know about karate. Guns beat karate. Every time.
Steve advises a friend on avoiding bullies. Stay near someone weaker. Bullies always target the perceived easy mark. When a bully confronts the weaker boy, however, the boy retaliates with ferocious punches. Steve asks how he managed it. The boy credits karate but laments getting expelled for fighting.
I'm 17 and I can't read an alphabet.
Inspired, Steve decides to learn karate and visits Biden Dojo, where the sensei proclaims two core values, preserving karate's spirit and loyalty to Joe Biden. Instructor Tom dismisses Steve and his friend's weak punches, urging them to channel anger. After mocking a student named Snow for being a kid,
Son.
Don't call me son!
Tom goads Snow into unleashing increasingly powerful strikes, culminating in Snow breaking a wooden board with ease. During sparring, Steve is overwhelmed and forced to flee, while Snow earns praise for his dominance. Snow's newfound aggression leads to frequent fights, prompting the principal to threaten expulsion if he fights again. Steve begs Tom to intervene, but Tom insists the only solution is for Steve to defeat Snow in a karate tournament, stating he doesn't train losers. Confused, Steve turns to Stan for help, asking for advice on how to secure a victory.
There is only one thing you need to know about karate. Guns beat karate. Every time.
Klaus has sprouted wings. While being chased by a seal, he frantically wills himself to grow wings to escape.
Evolve like the wind!
Due to Roger's hypnosis, Hayley's mental state has regressed to that of a 6-year-old, and she treats Jeff with disdain. When Jeff seeks help from the family, they all agree that this childlike version of Hayley is delightful. Unwilling to give up, Jeff pleads with Roger to attempt reverse hypnosis, but the effort proves fruitless. During an outing, Klaus decides to intervene. The group flips through old photo albums and notices that Hayley's demeanor changed after she turned 7, becoming the irritable persona they recognize. A photo shows her pointing at a television screen.
That was the moment she became Downer Hayley!
They track down the man who took the photo, now an adult whose room is filled with memorabilia of Hayley. He locates the image on his computer, prints 2 copies, keeping one for himself, and gives the other to Jeff. To address the root cause, Jeff takes Hayley to an ocean park at night. When she wakes up confused, he claims they are there to see seals. To draw her attention, Klaus jumps into the water, only to be pursued by a seal that lunges at him. Klaus scrambles onto the shore, with the seal in hot pursuit. Jeff dramatically fights off the seal, but Hayley is preoccupied in a nearby gift shop and misses the entire scene.